NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg on November 29 warned that Russia was set to intensify strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure over the winter and had amassed a very sizable arsenal of anti-surface missiles which it could use in the theater. Russia has amassed a large missile stockpile ahead of winter, and we see new attempts to strike Ukraine's power grid and energy infrastructure, trying to leave Ukraine in the dark and cold, he stated. The statement comes amid growing speculation that Western countries will press Kiev to accept a cessation of hostilities on terms put forward by Moscow, as further large-scale American funding either for the continued functioning of the Ukrainian government or for the war effort appears increasingly unlikely to materialize. Growing acknowledgement in the West that Ukraine's massive months-long offensives against Russian positions from June ended in total failure, and signs of extreme casualties, growing munitions shortages, and flagging morale between them indicate that Russia's position in the conflict has become increasingly favorable. Although the Russian defense sector's productive capacities in almost all areas diminished very significantly following the disintegration of the Soviet Union, industries for surface-to-surface and surface-to-air missile systems have been among the healthiest and retain tremendously greater productive capacities compared to those in the Western world, collectively. The Defense Ministry's prioritization of orders for missile systems due to their perceived high asymmetric value and cost-effectiveness resulted in greater health in these industries across their supply chains, and as a result, Russia has been able to tremendously increase output of key missile assets. This has not only kept up with munitions expenditures on the Ukrainian front, but also allowed the Russian armed forces to expand the number of units using key missile systems while at the same time facilitating continued exports to clients such as Belarus and India. Vast and growing superiority in surface-to-surface missile systems has continued to be a central factor providing Russian forces with significant advantages on the front lines. Taking the Iskander-M missile system as an example, deliveries in 2023 have been made at several times the rates seen before the outbreak of war in Ukraine. CEO of the Machine Building Design Bureau responsible for producing the systems, Sergei Pitakov, stated accordingly at the Army 2023 forum in August that supplies surged by several times. Similar surges in production for other systems, such as Kh-47M2 Kinzhal air-launched ballistic missiles which saw output quintuple, have also been observed. The results of these production surges have been clear on the front lines in Ukraine, a notable example being the conducting of double strikes using Iskander-M systems which, while requiring expenditure of more missiles, have provided a means of significantly increasing casualties among Ukrainian frontline units. While Ukrainian and Western sources have consistently warned that Ukraine's air defenses have become increasingly critically depleted, allowing Russian missile assets to operate with greater effectiveness, strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure even by late 2022 were seen to potentially pose a risk of forcing the country's population to totally abandon major cities. Accelerated strikes on key infrastructure and military positions remains a significant possibility should Russia seek to intensify pressure on Kiev and its Western supporters ahead of possible negotiations. Earlier, report from iStories, an independent Russian news agency, reveals that the Russian army has deployed the S-300 anti-aircraft missile system against ground targets. This news comes via their renowned Vajniye Novosti, important news, website. Interestingly, this isn't the first instance that the S-300 system has been utilized for ground offensives in the ongoing Ukraine conflict. A case in point is back in July 2022, when the governor of Mykolaiv Oblast, Vitaly Kim, alerted the world about the frequent missile attacks from Russian forces via his X account, previously known as Twitter. He went on to mention that the Russians were making adept use of modified S-300 missiles, which were equipped with GPS navigators to target ground positions. Digging deeper into the past, one can trace back the use of the S-300 against terrestrial targets to 2017. As disclosed by Russian sources, the S-300 was employed by Russia's Eastern Military District troops during a military drill in the Khabarovsk region. During that exercise, the missile system was used to take out simulated ground military vehicles. With S-300 certain modifications and adaptations, it is possible to utilize the system to engage ground targets as well. One way to achieve this is by reconfiguring the system's radar and software algorithms to detect and track ground-based threats instead of aerial ones. By adjusting the parameters and algorithms, the system can be programmed to identify and engage ground targets, such as vehicles or personnel, effectively. Another approach is by modifying the missiles used in the system. To engage ground targets, the missiles can be equipped with different warheads, such as blast fragmentation or armor-piercing warheads, which are more suitable for engaging ground-based threats. Additionally, the missile's guidance system may need to be adjusted to optimize its trajectory and accuracy when targeting ground objects. Furthermore, integrating additional sensors and equipment into the S-300 system can enhance its ability to engage ground targets. For instance, incorporating ground surveillance radars or electro-optical sensors can provide the system with improved situational awareness of the ground environment.